Hi, I'm Oliver, and today we'll be making spaghetti bolognese. The ingredients are 1 onion chopped. We haven't chopped or minced the vegetables yet. 3 cloves of garlic, 1 whole carrot chopped, 2 teaspoons of thyme, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh basil, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, a big can or 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes, salt and pepper to taste for the meat after, 1/2 cup of red wine, 1.5 pounds of beef, any meat you want basically, 1 teaspoon sugar, and olive oil for just like a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons olive oil for the sauteing, and then pasta of your choice. We're using whole wheat pasta. And the first step will be to mince all the vegetables. So we're going to be mincing our basil, thyme, carrot, garlic, and our onion. Okay, so here's the mise en place for the vegetables. I already did the mise en place for everything else. They're all minced and chopped now. It's 3 cloves of garlic chopped, 2 teaspoons of thyme chopped, 2 tablespoons of basil chopped, 1 whole onion chopped, and 1 full carrot chopped. And now what we're going to do is we're going to heat up our pan. So you're going to want to turn it to medium-high to start. And you're going to want to add like 1 tablespoon of olive oil and let it heat up for a little bit. About that much, and we'll let this heat up before we add our other ingredients. So the first step for cooking would be to add your onions in, and we're going to saute these. So just leave them in for a little bit. We're going to saute them. Just mixing around, let them brown. Okay, so after you saute your onions for a couple of minutes, you're going to want to add your garlic. And we're going to let these two saute for a little bit. Okay, so the next step will be to add in your meat after you let that saute. Little chunks at a time, so make sure in the beginning, of course, your hands are washed. We're going to mix that around for a bit. So you're going to want to break up your meat and you're going to brown it, which is one of my techniques, and it's just to like make the outside crispy and just change the color from red to brown for the meat. Also, while you're breaking up the meat and letting it cook, you're going to want to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to season it. So next step after browning for about 5 minutes is to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. There's 1. And there's 2. And you're just gonna wanna mix that around in the meat. So the next step is to add in your carrots after you let the tomato paste sink in. And you're just gonna you're going to fold them in a little bit, just mix them around a tiny bit. And then you're going to want to add in the 1/2 cup of red wine. And you're going to mix that in with the beef and the carrots. After you let the wine sink in and fold it in with the beef, you're going to want to turn down the heat to medium and let everything just soak and cook for a couple of minutes. So the next step is to add in your can of crushed tomatoes. And you're gonna wanna mix that around a little bit, just get it mixed around with the beef and the carrots and everything. And then next, you're gonna wanna add in your herbs. So your basil and your thyme. And you're going to want to mix those around a little bit. And then when you've just kind of swirled it around, then you add in the sugar to take away from the acidity of the tomatoes. You're going to want to mix everything around, just let it sit for a little bit. So you're going to have to adjust your salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt and mix that around a little bit. And then also add half a teaspoon of pepper. And after you mixed all those around, you're going to want to turn down the heat of the pan to simmer. And you're going to let it sit for 30 minutes so that all the juices can soak. While the sauce is simmering, you're going to want to turn on your heat for the water. It's just a pot full of water and a little bit of salt. You're going to want to turn on your heat to high so that it can boil. And then you're going to add your pasta after. So your next step is to add in your whole wheat pasta, or any pasta, to your boiling water. We're just using whole wheat for this recipe. So just pour it in. And stir it around. And you're going to want to cook this with the top off. Now that I've poured in the pasta, you're going to want to let this cook for 12 minutes until it's al dente, which means it's to the bite, so basically not tough but not too soft. So now when your pasta is done boiling, you're going to want to separate it from the water. Having a bit of a struggle. There we go. And yeah, now you have your pasta and your bolognese. So you're gonna want to turn all your pot and your pan off, and then plate yourself with a little bit of pasta. A little more. Actually, that's good. That's good. And the meat sauce. And then when you're done, I like to add a little bit of Parmesan on top, just for topping. So just grate some Parmesan over top. If you don't want to, it's your choice. And yeah, it's a recipe. Thanks for watching.